All right.
So I'm really excited to introduce our next panel. We've got Beavis from AMCI. He's the Chief Strategy Officer, and he's going to be having a fireside chat with Meliza Humphrey, who just took on a new title and role at the American Honda Motor Company. She's added some Acura duties, which is very exciting. Congratulations, Meliza. I know that must be fun for you to be expanding your role there. So you guys are gonna talk about what's the 2021 marketing plan and how is it having to evolve because of the still changing pandemic, and how you guys are coping with that, and just how things are how you're handling everything with the pandemic. So I think we're still trying to get Ian up on screen. Welcome, Meliza. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. So this is I'm excited to talk about this, yeah, because I'm sure it's been all on our minds and we've been experiencing it.
Here we go.
And there's Ian. Awesome. So I will leave you to it.
Hi, Ian.
Thank you.
Hi there. Thanks, Tanya. So we're running a little bit behind time here. So in the interest of that, we're going to sort of kick right into things and get down to the more practical things. And by the way, congratulations, Meliza, for your being promoted there. The change is constant. So let's just think about what Honda's been doing. Honda's been very active over the years in a lot of things, not just media marketing, but you've done a lot of things in terms of partnerships with NHL, with music programming, with Civic, with the e-gaming and so on. So all of that got turned upside down in March last year. So whatever plan you had got thrown out the window. So what did you do next? I'm interested to know how you pivoted and kept the engagement going when you couldn't really engage in the way you had, and what you've learned through that. And this is probably a long answer. What you've learned through that and how you're going to apply that going forward. So I'll shut up and let you go.
Yeah, for sure. We obviously this past year has given us a lot of challenges, but a lot of opportunities to learn. And with Honda, with our commitments, with our programs and our partnerships like NHL, music, Honda Civic Tour and Honda Stage, and even with our gaming partners, Twitch and Team Liquid, our partnerships are really close knit and they're long lasting. And it's really given us the opportunity to build up a very strong fan base over the years. We view these partnerships as our opportunity as a brand to establish relationships with fans and customers. And we have worked hard from the beginning of the pandemic to maintain that engagement, even when in-person events and games were completely halted. And before games returned without fans, we worked closely with our partners to come up with new ideas. Like for instance, with the NHL, after the season was paused in last March, we were thrilled to partner with the NHL to keep hockey in front of fans with their first ever virtual NHL player gaming challenge. And it was presented by Honda. And so the virtual competitors and competition kept fans engaged with their favorite NHL players and their teams, while at the same time helping raise funds to aid the COVID relief efforts.
So what sort of metrics are you using to sort of understand engagement and what it's a different type of engagement, but what sort of metrics are you getting? Can you sort of disclose any of those?
Yeah, and they're all very different. I would say with the NHL, because this was a virtual and online gaming event, at the same time it was unique because they also aired this on some of their networks. So we looked at not only like the TV viewership, but we also watched people who were streaming, and the NHL also did some social posts, and we had even the NHL players also do some social posts. So we had a lot of different metrics to look at. So not only social posts, not only gaming, but also the TV network viewership as they were streamed through national TV as well.
Okay, that's good. That's good. What about on the music side of things? How do you, because everyone's missing that. We're listening to it, but it's not the way we wanted to.
Exactly. On the music side, we do have our Honda Stage YouTube channel. So we continue to do our Honda stage music programs that really help tell those stories of those up and coming artists through those types of channels. But, we also partner with music festivals, and those music festivals didn't happen last year, but they also were innovative on, bringing these events virtually. So for example, the Austin City Limits, because they weren't having an in-person event, they decided to stream some of their past stage artists from past festivals. One of the things that we wanted to do with them is, because we have our Honda Stage music platform, and we've seen some of the artists who perform on our physical Honda Stage at Austin City Limits also come through our other programs. One of the artists was Rosalia. So they were going to stream her past performance, and we wanted to give the fans an extra sneak peek of her performance on our Honda Stage channel. So we had this special feature presented by Honda of additional content of Rosalia, which some of these people probably have never seen. So that was an exciting way we were able to extend ACL's virtual event to include some additional Honda footage and Honda music.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So we're now sort of seeing the little light at the end of this dreadful tunnel that we've been in for forever. So, looking forward in terms of your marketing plan, you've got these events, you've got all your mainstream advertising, you've got experiential. Where do you see, what would you keep that you've learned of this, and what would you not do again? Because, just going forward, because, it's going to be, I think we're going to end up with a hybrid model of marketing. I think we've all learned a lot out of this. But I would have to say, on my own personal side, there's some stuff that I'm really glad I've done. There's some stuff I hope I never have to do again. So this is a moment for you. This is a moment of truth for you, Meliza. So have a go.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because looking back at all of the different types of engagements we've had, I don't know if there's anything we will say we will never do again. There have definitely been learnings. Some of these events, like the music festivals, are very regional. Because we take these now virtual, we're able to reach a greater audience.
Yeah.
On the Acura side, we do support the New Orleans Jazz Fest, and part of that is the trombone partnership as well, and that's a fundraiser that supports the youth jazz in New Orleans, and we were excited to really keep that to life and be able to do that virtually. And there was also a fundraiser that we were able to then branch off nationally versus just regionally. So like you said, Ian, I think there's going to be a hybrid approach, because we will have that engagement in the region. We'll have that in-person engagement. But I think there's some learnings there of how do we reach people who may not be in that area but want to see it, and be able to broadcast that at a more national level. Yeah,
no, that's definitely, there's the personal side of it where you can have the event locally, and then this reach that the digital side gives us that we probably never really thought about before, can make a huge difference, particularly for fundraising. It's absolutely dynamite. Are you using sort of are you pivoting to more new technologies? Are there any specific areas of technology that you've started using? For instance, you guys, we're in the ride and drive business to a large extent, and hasn't been too much of that. We're using technology now where you get a phone app, and the right seat driver isn't there with you. They're actually remotely. We've got a camera in the car, and you can go and drive and do all that sort of. Are you experimenting with those sorts of things? Are you looking at those sorts of things in the future? Because I think people are going to be hesitant for too much close physical contact too soon.
Yes, technology has definitely played a role in this in very different aspects. Like you mentioned on production shoots, where the agency or we haven't been able to be there, we are seeing things through live streams. But at the same time, Honda has really invested in our technology and our tech partners over time. I think some of the platforms that we have already leveraged, whether it's our gaming and online music channels, have really helped us already establish those things. But now it's about becoming more innovative on what we do with that technology. One of the things that we don't really talk about, because it's more of an in-house technology, is that we have a virtual garage, is what we call it. And it's where we actually collect all of the data for all of our vehicles, and we're able to create assets to make images of our vehicles. It's used mainly for internal purposes and things like that. But at a time where we couldn't capture photography in person, we did have to leverage our virtual garage and using CG data to create what these images may look like for marketing purposes. I will say one thing too, it made us a lot smarter and a lot more collaborative with other departments and divisions. So when we were going out there and say, hey, we're going to do this shoot and we're going to have these vehicles out there. And when we all couldn't really do our individual shoots and things like that, it's like, who needs what? So creating a whole list of content that was created, for PR, for social, for digital, even for sales training. So it definitely forced us to be more collaborative internally.
Yeah, no OEM has silos. No one has silos. I've never personally experienced it at all. No, it is actually, that's actually that hasn't been brought up enough. We've found with our clients that that's very true. The level of collaboration that was rightly or wrongly forced upon us is probably going to fundamentally change the way departments work together, and it may lead to a lot less duplication of effort, because let's face it, there was plenty of that going on before the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's very interesting. So, anything new on the horizon? Well, actually, you're sort of moving into something else, so you've got lots of new stuff on the horizon. You're going to leave this to someone else. But what are you planning into your marketing for the next, say, 12 months or so? Is there anything new on the horizon that you're going to try or extend from where you are today, without giving away the score?
Well, I did want to talk about one thing. One of the things I don't want to say one of the things we creatively did was, we are in the midst of launching our 11th generation Civic.
Yep.
And so we did a prototype reveal in the fall. And we used one of our platforms, our gaming platform, in our Honda Head-to-Head channel, to do this reveal amongst a group of fans that usually don't become part of a vehicle reveal. And it was very, very exciting. We received a lot of positive press from that, not only from the media, but also from the fans. And, we're still kind of in this environment. And one of the things I can't forget about, which is really near to dear to my heart, is Honda Civic Tour. So because we're in the midst of launching our Civic and we have our Civic Tour, we are taking it virtual this year again. And hopefully we'll be able to share some of that news in the coming days. But that's one of the things that we're working on now that will become very innovative as well. But part of also going back to some of the learnings we had with the prototype reveal.
Interesting. Yeah, virtual is definitely going to be part of it, no question. Yep. And Lisa's just popped up. Hello.
Yeah.
Have at it.
No, well, this is great. But you know what, I'm curious, because you're talking about, sort of this moving forward in this kind of hybrid mode. But when you're saying you're reaching other people, are you finding that you're reaching them in just as valuable a way? Are they engaging as much? And how are you measuring that in terms of, that you're just reaching them, or are they actually then becoming customers?
That's a very good question. And it is something definitely we're continuing to look at, because in-person events, we definitely have our way of measuring how do we stay engaged with them. Obviously, how do we get them part of the Honda family? How do we start to communicate them in our digital customer journey programs? When it's online, we're also thinking about that. So what is a natural way of keeping them engaged? And one of the things we like to do is really try to take them from where they are and say, learn more about either Honda, or learn more about Honda Stage, or learn more about the all new Civic, and then take them to our website. And start creating like those little breadcrumbs of where they are visiting us. And hopefully we can continue to track them to see how engaged they stay with the brand.
Yeah, the website end up being the integration engine. That's what really happens.
Well, and that's also in terms of how are you incorporating that all into the media mix, you know, as far as, I mean, a social must play a big part of this.
Yes. Yes, it is a big, big circle for us because it is social, it is digital, and obviously our gaming partners are also becoming very important in the way we track that and measure how our fans are staying engaged in their platforms.
And I'm assuming you're getting some sort of connection partners there, because that family or that group of people are so connected with one another. That's a great way to use influencers and sort of take advantage of all of that.
Yes, definitely.
It sounds like it opened up a whole new world, all of everything that's going on.
It did, and that's why I went back to Ian and say, I don't know if anything we've done is if we've ever looked at it as we won't do again, but it is definitely opening a lot of doors, and it's keeping our mind going. Like, okay, how do we make it better, or what do we do next?
Yeah, we find with all our clients, you know, everyone's starting to think about, you know, things that previously would have been thought of as impossible. I think, you know, the old saying is, you know, never waste a crisis. And, you know, frankly, you know, marketing plans will, you know, rip them up, let's start again, which is what's been going on. But I think we've all learned a great deal through this, the collaboration clearly, but we've tried things because frankly, we had no choice.
Yep.
Right.
And what's amazing to me, just across all the clients we've worked with, is how many things actually really did work. That, you know, honestly, I don't know. You know, we go to our clients with ideas and, you know, get thrown out quite often. But the reality is this time they were more accepting of it. There was sort of an element of desperation. We couldn't possibly make it worse. But then when the things actually worked, it was really, wow, look at that. Now, what else could we do? So it's this thought of what's possible, I think, has been a big change. I think there's going to be some great business books written out of all this mess.
You can be the first one to write it, Ian. Thank you so much. And Meliza, thank you. This was awesome. You guys got some really great feedback here, and a lot for, you know, I think everyone's experiencing as you are and moving forward.
Right.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Melissa. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
All the best.